Now that we've covered the individual meals, let's put all this together in planning and prepping. How can you make meal planning and prepping as easy and effortless as possible? Now, it does require some effort for sure. It won't happen without you doing anything. The main thing, though, the motivation is there already. You made sure of that when we laid the groundwork for the journey. All you need now is some knowledge and tools to make it straightforward, logical, and doable. I must admit it was a tough nut to crack to put all the information and tools into one graspable episode, but here's my take on it. I'd say meal planning and prepping go hand in hand, as there are things to consider while meal planning to make the prep work less hard and less time consuming. Let's start from the beginning. You are going to plan your meals for the week ahead. Start with thinking of what your week looks like, what your schedule is. How much time do you have to cook during the week? This will determine how much you need to prep ahead and what kind of meals are the most suitable for your needs. Let's take breakfast first. Good news is you already did the work a few episodes back when you drafted yourself breakfast for a week, remember? Take that as a base and build on it. I will give you a few prep ideas. Let's say you are a porridge person. Now, you may use a certain spice mix to flavor it. To make things quicker, combine a bigger batch, store it in a jar, and save time on measuring individual spices every morning. Then you can grind a portion of either flax or chia seeds or both and store those in the fridge for an easy grab. If you use veggies in your porridge, prep them ahead, either grate or process and again store in the fridge. This will save a ton of time in the morning. Then you can put your grains to soak in the evening so that your porridge cooks quicker and is better digested as well. Or make overnight oats, chia pudding, or raw buckwheat or tofu cream that you can prep the evening before and have it ready for consumption in the morning. You can even make a bigger batch of tofu scramble and eat it for a few mornings in a row by heating it up and adding fresh greens, herbs, and red cabbage, for example. Let's move on to snacks and desserts. I believe snacks might be one of the most important things to prep ahead or ensure you have supplied yourself with store-bought ones, because when you happen to hit a low in between the meals, in the middle of the working day, it will be very hard, if not impossible, to say no to vending machine or other similar not so healthy stuff, because you simply can't fight your blood sugar with willpower. Again, the good news is you already laid the groundwork with the last episode. If you're busy during the week, choose something that you can freeze or refrigerate, like muffins, bliss balls, pancakes, bread, tortillas, or something that keeps well at room temperature, like crackers. You can freeze pancakes and bread slices for breakfast as well. Or prep some raw veggies and store in a container in the fridge. You can even take them with you when you go to work. Next, some words about how to choose the type of snacks to have. For example, if you had a filling grain-based breakfast, have vegetables or fruit with some nuts for your mid-morning snack. In case you ate something lighter as a green smoothie or small portion of porridge or some yogurt with granola, have a filling protein and fiber-rich second breakfast or a snack. For example, porridge with some protein powder and flax seeds, or bread with tofu, tempeh, or hummus and or avocado. Deciding what you have for dessert also depends on how heavy your menu has been that day. For example, if you had curry with coconut milk for dinner, then consider not having too rich of a dessert containing lots of nuts or avocado. Instead, make a buckwheat or tofu cream with some berries, or simply have a fruit. If you didn't have grains for dinner, go ahead and eat muffins or cookies for an end of the meal treat. Or if you had only grains and veggies for dinner, make a tofu or chickpea cream or mousse for dessert. Tofu as well as raw buckwheat cream would be excellent for batch prepping and storing in the fridge for an easy grab. You can divide it between small containers or jars so that you don't have to open the same one several times, which would shorten the preservation time. Or make bliss balls, muffins, or cookies for the whole week. It's possible to find wholesome crackers in the stores as well, especially organic shops. So if you prefer not to bake yourself, there's an easier option for you. Nowadays, there are more and more plant-based bars and bliss balls to choose from. Let's move on to planning and prepping main meals. If you have time to cook during the week, a good option would be to make a batch of soup or a stew that lasts for several days, including for lunch. And then cook a new batch of something different that would last for another 2 to 3 days. What you have with a stew can vary. Some raw greens and other veggies, as well as nuts and seeds that you can rotate. If you choose to opt for bowls, you can consider prepping some things ahead as well. For example, choose 1 to 2 whole grains, cook them in batch, and store in airtight jars or containers in the fridge. Same goes for legumes if you prefer to cook them yourself, like beans and lentils. Or you can buy beans in cans as well. Then cube some tofu so that you can quickly add it to your bowls or even soups and stews. Saute a bigger batch of mushrooms and store in the fridge. Chop salad and raw veggies like cabbage, carrot, kohlrabi ahead and store them in an airtight container in the fridge as well. Make enough salad dressing or dressings to last for 3 to 4 days. Hummus is a super versatile option as you can eat it with main meals, have as a snack, or even as breakfast. And moreover, you can make it thinner with a bit of water and maybe add some extra tamari or miso and you get a salad dressing. Stews and curries are perfect with salads as well, as you don't need to make a separate dressing. A general advice about nuts and seeds that you consume throughout the week. Consider soaking them for 6 to 8 hours. 4 hours is enough for walnuts, for better digestion and improved nutrient absorption. The only exceptions are hemp, flax, and Brazil nuts that don't require soaking. For a crunchy result, dehydrate the nuts and seeds after you soak them. If this is not an option, store them in the freezer to prevent mold from developing. Moving on to choosing the ingredients for your meals. There are a few things to consider, some of which I've already mentioned briefly in the previous episodes. Seasonality. Choose among the seasonal fruits and vegetables in your region. They cost less and are the freshest. Then rotation. We already touched upon this in the first episode of this module, the breakfasts. It's good to rotate your food to give your body a break and make it less unlikely for an intolerance to develop. You don't have to grow crazy here, simply make sure you have a variety of grains, legumes, veggies, nuts and seeds throughout the week. Next, there's the rainbow. When planning your daily meals, look to the rainbow assortment of fruits and veggies as a guide. Rainbow here means selecting colorful foods: yellow, orange, red, green, purple, and blue. These plant colors provide powerful antioxidants and nutrients for your body to function more efficiently. Then we have variety of foods. The British and American Gut Project looked at the diets of thousands of people, assessing how different dietary patterns were associated with different health outcomes. Now, while fiber is extremely important, what the study was showing us was that the amount of fiber is not as important as the variety, because different plants have different fibers, so eating more plants diversifies the types of fiber you eat. The study showed us that people who ate the largest variety of plant foods were found to have the healthiest microbiomes. 30 was the optimum number of different plants for fiber diversity, as there wasn't much improvement when you increased from 30 to 35 or 40. And it's very easy to achieve if you keep in mind the rotation and rainbow and incorporate herbs and spices, as every little plant counts. In fact, you'll see that getting 30 different plants in a day will not be something unachievable. Then, whenever possible, make sure the foods that you eat are natural, alive, and of good quality. If you have the seasonality and local produce in mind, this should already be the case. If possible, opt for organic foods. If not, clean them thoroughly before consuming. You'll find instructions on how to do it effectively in the workbook. Use vegetables you already have at home for your first day or two of meal planning, remembering seasonality and variety. For example, if you have cauliflower on hand, make a curry or a pureed soup with it. Maybe you have broccoli in the fridge. Stir fry it with other veggies, make puree soup, or just steam it and add to a salad bowl. If you have a lot of summer squash, put it in the wok and add carrots, onion, and bell pepper. When you've used up everything you have at home, choose different veggies of different colors for meals during the next few days. And now the topic many of you have been waiting to discuss, and that's cooking for your family while you are the only one eating plant-based. It can be easy to cook for everybody. Knowing a balanced plate consists of half vegetables, raw and cooked, quarter grains or other starches, and quarter protein, it's easy to mix and match actually. For example, while preparing a stew, soup, or a curry, make the base of the meal plant-based and then add animal protein separately for the other members of your family, whatever they prefer to eat and you are ready to cook for them. It's the easiest with bowls, as all the ingredients are separate anyway. Other people can add whatever they prefer to their portion while you have plant-based options. This is how I did it within our plant-based diet when I was on Candida cleanse, and it worked perfectly. And when it came to snacks and desserts, my family was happy to eat all my Candida-friendly ones, as they are as tasty as any other versions. If they wanted something specific, they either bought it or made it themselves. Next, I'd like to touch upon a few more essentials when it comes to planning your meals, especially plant-based meals. Choosing the fats, that is, nuts and seeds. There are different fats. Polyunsaturated, that is omega-3s and 6s, then monounsaturated fats, that is omega-9s, and then we have saturated fats. What should you consider about those fats? Let's take polyunsaturated fats first. Some of these fatty acids are essential, which means they must be included in our daily food intake. These fatty acids are omega-3 and omega-6s. Omega-3s are known for their anti-inflammatory properties, which makes them necessary for the prevention of several diseases. They provide for the building and functioning of cell membranes, and without these components, the cells are unable to exist. Now, even though omega-6 fatty acids aren't as well known, they are also necessary for bodily functions and mostly heart health. However, as omega-3s are mainly anti-inflammatory and omega-6s are pro-inflammatory, it's important to pay attention to the correct balance between those two fatty acids. Studies about the dieting habits of earlier generations show that our ancestors had a perfect omega 3 and omega 6 fatty acid balance, and that is 1 to 1. In modern days, this ratio can sometimes even skew towards 1 to 20 in the favor of omega 6s, or be even more unbalanced. This is mainly because omega 6 fatty acids are hidden in a variety of foods that we are over consuming, especially the widely used seed oils. How to have the balance then? Eat seeds and nuts rich in omega 3 fatty acids, such as ground flax seeds, hemp, or chia seeds, or walnuts. Flax and chia seeds should be ground to make them easily digestible and so that your body can reach the fatty acids hidden under their shells. You can add seeds and nuts to your smoothies, morning porridge, or salads, or eat them as they are. For plant-based dieters, various types of algae are good sources for omega-3 fatty acids, as they contain higher types of omega-3s than seeds and nuts. Algae powders or flakes make good additions to smoothies, salad dressings, soups, and stews. If you're doubtful about whether your intake of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids is sufficient, those of you who are omnivores can add fish oil supplements to your diet, and plant-based eaters can opt for algae oil. In today's download and in the ebook in chapter Compiling a Menu, I've included cocktails of nuts and seeds with perfect ratio of omega-3s and 6s, so make use of them. Next we have monounsaturated fats, that is omega-9s. These are necessary for healthy functioning cells. It's easy to add them to your diet by eating olives, avocado, or almonds and hazelnuts. Make sure you eat 1 or 2 of those every day, and you will be alright. Saturated fats are necessary as well, but the quantities must be monitored. Cell membranes are usually comprised of several chemical compounds, among which there are phospholipids. The molecule of this compound is usually made up of 2 types of fatty acids, a saturated and an unsaturated one. So we need some saturated fat as well. What's problematic is eating an excessive amount of saturated fats, especially animal-based saturated fat. All animal fat is saturated, by the way. Plant-based sources are coconut, palm oils, and cacao butter, so chocolate is saturated as well. The fatty acids in coconut meat enhance our metabolism and help keep the weight in check, fight harmful bacteria, and are healthy for your skin. Unfortunately, animal-based saturated fatty acids don't share these beneficial properties. How much saturated fat is okay then? The upper limit is set to 21 grams a day, so if you're consuming a diet of 2000 calories, don't go over 100 milliliters of coconut milk or 35 grams of shredded coconut a day. Being a whole food promoter, I prefer to provide my body with the necessary fatty acids by eating seeds, nuts, almonds, olives, avocados, and algae. While eating these foods rich in fatty acids in their most natural form, I also get plenty of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and other phytonutrients. Consuming fats in their natural package, that is, in the form of nuts, seeds, olives, and avocados, we make our meal times more nutritious and healthier than just preparing meals with plant-based oils. What's more, adding oils makes it easy to slip into the overconsumption of fats. Besides the fats, we have some vitamins and minerals to watch on a plant-based diet. B vitamins, folate, calcium, iodine, selenium, and iron. It's unnecessary to list the food sources in the video. All this information is beautifully laid out for you in the ebook in chapter Vitamins, Minerals, and Phytochemicals. In short, make sure you have dark leafy greens every day for B vitamins, iron, and calcium, seaweeds for iodine, and Brazil nuts for selenium. For calcium, other excellent options are tofu and tempeh, sesame seeds or tahini, cinnamon and poppy seeds. If you have the G bombs and F goals in mind, you have everything covered easily and effortlessly. Again, let's put everything you learned into practice right away by drafting a 5-day menu plan for yourself. You'll find everything ready in your workbook. How do you start? Write down what you already have at home. Fresh produce, herbs, spices, grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. Take that into account when planning the meals. Next, think about what kind of breakfasts you'd like to have on which days. Porridges, sandwiches, pancakes, tofu scramble, or other. Write your choices in the table in your workbook. Then, thinking about rotation and variety, pick the specific ingredients like grains, veggies, and berries. Now, move on to lunches and dinners. Again, consider what you already have in hand. Start with filling the table with general ideas of what you'd like to have. Salad bowls, stews or curries, soups or other. Then choose the ingredients considering the breakfast that you've already drafted. For example, if you had buckwheat for breakfast, choose another grain for main meals. If you had tofu for breakfast, opt for edamame or tempeh or other legumes for lunch and dinner, and so on. And finally, fill in the snacks and desserts considering the breakfasts and main meals that you already picked. In the workbook, there's also a table to check off all the rainbow colors for each day to help you keep track. This exercise will make sure you master healthy eating habits, whatever your diet preferences or needs at any given moment. I wish you happy drafting and see you in the next episodes where I cover food combining, actual food prepping hacks, as well as shopping.